ladies and gentlemen, to our Christmas Eve production of The Adventure of the Second Stain, a Sherlock Holmes mystery, written and directed by the two of us, starring us too. The scene opens on Watson and Holmes discussing a previous case.
I was thinking about writing a short account of your latest case, Holmes.
You know the details of it cannot yet be quite published.
All the same, it was an intriguing one, and I'm in no doubt that the public would find it entertaining if such a time comes that it can be shared.
Oh, I suppose so.
I do think it would be great. Now, if I can recall, it all started one Wednesday.
One Tuesday morning, Watson, one Tuesday. You see, we were sitting here, and I was sitting here by myself, and I was called upon by the Right Honourable Trelawney Hope, the Secretary for European Affairs at the time. He was in a great state.
And so, Mr. Holmes, once I discovered my loss, I went straight to the Prime Minister, and it was his suggestion I came to you.
Have you informed the police?
No, sir, it is not possible, for to inform the police would inform the public, and that is something that the Prime Minister and I greatly desire to avoid.
Why, sir?
The letter is of such immense importance that its contents should not be generally known. These will all hang in the balance. Unless its recovery can be made in secret, then it may as well not be recovered at all.
I understand. Now, Lord Trelawney Hope, would you take me through the details of the disappearance of this letter?
I can, in a very few words. I received it 6 days ago, and it was of such importance that I have never left it in my safe, but have taken it across each evening to my house in Whitehall Terrace, and kept it locked there in a dispatch box. Last evening it was there, this morning it was gone. My wife and I are such light sleepers that I can assure you no one came in night.
What time did the two of you dine?
7:30.
And then what time did you retire to bed?
My wife went to the theatre, and I waited up for her, so it was about 11:30 before we retired.
So, for 4 hours the box lay unguarded in your room?
No one is permitted in the room save the housemaid in the morning, my valet, and my wife's maid. Both of the latter are tried and tested servants.
Who knew of the existence of the letter?
No one in the house.
But surely your wife knew.
No, sir, she knew nothing of it until I missed it this morning.
Have you lost important documents before?
No, sir.
Who else in England knew of the existence of the letter?
Each member of the cabinet was informed of it yesterday, but the Prime Minister gave us such a dire warning never to tell anyone about it. Good heavens, to think that I've lost it already! But apart from the cabinet, maybe 2-3 departmental officials know about it. No one else in England, I assure you, Mr. Holmes.
But abroad?
No one, sir.
Right, I must ask you to give me the details of the actual contents of this letter. Tell me why it has such momentous consequences when it is lost.
The letter is a long, thin one. It's with a seal of red wax. It is addressed in bold handwriting.
While these details may be interesting and perhaps necessary, I intend to get to the root of the matter. Tell me, what was the contents of the letter?
I'm afraid I can't tell you, sir, save that it is of national importance.
Well, I am afraid this whole interview is a complete waste of your time then, sir.
Very well, Mr. Holmes, I will tell you. The letter is from a foreign minister who has been ruffled by recent events in this country, and in it are such sentences of such a provocative nature that, were it to be published, it might lead to a great war by the end of the week.
Is this the man?
It is!
Has he been informed of the disappearance?
Yes, sir, a cipher telegram has been dispatched.
Now, you know what I recommend, sir? You know that you say that there may be war.
I think that it is very probable.
Well, then you'll have to prepare for war.
Mr. Holmes, that is a very hard thing to say.
Well, consider the facts. Whoever took your document, whether it be the maid or the valet,
Both of which are trusted servants.
I understand your room is on the 2nd floor. Who then could go unnoticed up there unless they were part of the house? No, it must be someone of the house. However, the letter will be passed on very rapidly by now. I will make inquiries and see what I can do.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Now, I must return home now, but I will keep you up to date with any developments. Good day.
Good day. situation was desperate, but not entirely hopeless. The next development in the case came from you, in fact.
Me, Holmes?
Yes, Watson, you. You were sitting in that chair there, reading the newspaper, while I went over the finer details of the case.
I remember you say there were 3 men with which you suspected to have had a hand in this.
Yes, 3. Oberstein, Larothiere, and Eduardo Lucas. And then you mentioned that there was an Eduardo Lucas in the paper that you were reading at the time.
I think I have it here. Oh, here it is. Shall I read it?
Yes, go ahead.
Murder in Westminster. A crime of such a mysterious character was committed last night at 16 Godolphin Street, the residence of Mr. Eduardo Lucas, a man well known in society on account of his charming personality and his well-deserved reputation of being one of the best amateur tenors in the country. The 34-year-old bachelor had the house to himself on the fateful night. About 11:45, Constable Barrett, passing along the street, observed the door to number 16 ajar. He knocked, but received no answer. Upon further investigation, he found the unfortunate tenant stabbed in the heart by a curved Indian dagger. The article continues, but that's all that's necessary. You were, of course, convinced that it wasn't a coincidence?
A coincidence? Of course it wasn't. The very odds of one of the men I just mentioned being brutally murdered hours after the events were absolutely enormous. No, could be no coincidence. However, I was on the way to visit the Godolphin Street when Mrs. Hudson called with a note. Lady Hilda Trelawney Hope desired to see me.
Has my husband been here, Mr. Holmes?
Yes, he has, madam. Pray, take a seat.
I implore you not to tell him that I have been to see you.
Madam, I fear I cannot make an unconditional promise.
Mr. Holmes, I will speak frankly to you. I understand that an important document was stolen from our home, and I beg of you, for my husband's lips are sealed. What was this document, and what will it lead to?
Madam, you put me in a difficult situation. For if it is under your husband's will that you are kept in the dark, and Hermione you break the pledge of professional secrecy by telling what he has withheld, it is not fair to ask it.
I come to you as a last resource, but but without you telling me anything definite, Mr. Holmes, would you enlighten me on one point?
What is it, madam?
Am I to understand that terrible consequences might come to my husband from the loss of this document?
Well, I can hardly deny it.
And could there be terrible public consequences?
Again, it's very likely.
And what are these events?
I cannot tell you there. You ask me something I can possibly not answer.
Very well, Mr. Holmes, I'll take up no more of your time today. Good day.
Good day, madam.
I think Watson did have a dog.
What do you think of that, Watson?
She could just be worried about her husband, Holmes.
Still, you can never be quite sure of a woman's intentions.
Maybe, but, oh, hello.
Right.
Maybe, but I believe you're about to visit Godolphin Street?
Yes, I was about to visit Godolphin Street, but first I received a telegram from a friend of mine in France. As it is here, I shall read it. Last night, in the Rue Austerlitz, a woman was reported insane by her household. Upon further investigation by the police, it was revealed that the lady, Madame Fournier, had returned from England the previous Tuesday, the morning after the murder. It did not take long to discover that Monsieur Henri Fournier, her husband, and your Eduardo Lucas are one and the same. Her movements are yet to be traced, but reports of a woman fitting Madame Fournier's description state that the lady caused a great scene in Charing Cross due to the wildness of her appearance. It can be assumed then that either the crime was committed when insane, or that its immediate effect drove the unhappy woman out of her mind. A woman that may have been Madame Fournier was seen lingering outside the house in Godolphin Street for some hours on Monday night.
Good heavens, that's a plot twist if ever I heard one. Now, was it time for you to visit the second the crime scene.
Yes, my good Watson, it was time to visit Godolphin Street. Off you get.
I have a curious little mystery for you, Holmes. You see this rug here with a stain on it?
Yes?
Surely the stain would have gone through to the floor below.
One would have thought so, Lestrade.
But see, no stain on the floor. Here. There is no stain on the rug, correct?
Correct.
But look, on the floor, a stain.
It is no great mystery, Lestrade. The two stains did used to correspond, but the rug has been turned round.
That's... The police don't need you to tell them that, Mr. Holmes. That's quite clear. What I want to know is who shifted the rug and why.
Look here, Lestrade. Has that constable been there the whole time guarding this room?
Yes, he has.
Now, take my take my advice and go and interview him and tell him that the truth must come out. Say, well, how dare he admit strangers into the room and leave them here while he's not here?
By George, if he knows something, I'll have it from him. The man has confessed, all right. He says that he meant no harm, but that a young lady came and had a look, wanted to have a look, having heard about the crime in the papers. Upon seeing the room, she fainted and the constable couldn't revive her. In the end, he went round for some brandy, but when he returned, she was gone. He says that the rug was quite rumpled, but he straightened it out.
Did he mention anything about her description? Was she tall?
Yes, she was tall and she was wearing something long, but apart from that, nothing.
Excellent work, excellent work. I have work to do elsewhere.
Oh, when you got a dog on the side.
Indeed, you did have work elsewhere, Holmes, for you had solved the case, had you not?
Not quite. A few details remained that were still in the dark. However, it was time for the last act. Luckily one that would not have war in it. The Right Honourable Lord Trelawney Hope would suffer no setback to his brilliant career, and with a little tax, the Prime Minister would have no European complications to deal with.
So where are we off to next then, Holmes?
I left Godolphin Street and I travelled to the Trelawney Hope residence to call upon Lady Hilda Trelawney Hope herself.
Mr. Holmes, why are you here?
Unfortunately, madam, I had no alternative. I have been commissioned to recover the letter, and so now I must ask you to place it into my hand.
You are mad, Mr. Holmes.
Mum, come, madam, you know you have the letter. Give it up.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Holmes, you were... I will ring for the butler.
No, you must not ring. If you do, all my efforts to keep you out of this will be frustrated. Goodness sake, woman, give me the letter.
Mr. Holmes, you were trying to frighten me. What do you accuse me of?
Pray sit down, madam, and I will explain all.
Very well, you have 5 minutes.
I can do it in 1. I know, madam, of your visit to Eduardo Lucas's house. I know of how you gave him the letter, and of your ingenious return later that evening. I know of how you retrieved the letter from beneath the carpet and made off with it.
You are under some absurd illusion, Mr. Holmes.
No, madam, I pray, give it up. I want to help you, not to destroy you. If you do not give it up, I shall have to expose you. My duty is only to return the letter to your husband. Pray, be frank with me.
You are mad, Mr. Holmes, quite mad.
I am very sorry to hear that, madam. However, I see that your husband generally returns to his house at 5 o'clock every evening, and that will be just in 10 minutes, so I will wait and talk to him when he returns.
Oh, Ben, Miss Holmes, Ben! For heaven's sake, don't tell him. I do love him so, and I don't break his no heart.
Oh, I'm glad you've seen sense at last, madam. Now pray, fetch the letter immediately. Where is it?
Here it is. I wish I'd never seen it.
Excellent. We must return it immediately. How shall we do it? Do you have the dispatch box still?
Yes, it's in his bedroom.
Go and fetch it.
Dear, oh dear.
You have a duplicate key? Perfect. Open it, quick. Return it. Sit out there. Sit out. Where was I?
No, we did it. Lost the hat.
Just
Utility.
But why, Holmes? Why would she do such a thing and then claim to love her husband so?
well, Watson. The Eduardo Lucas had got his hands upon a rather indiscreet letter that the woman had sent many years ago, and he was using it to blackmail her.
Oh.
So he asked her to retrieve the letter in exchange for this letter.
But how did you find? How did Mr. Lucas come to be dead?
Well, the mad wife, Madame Fournier, caught the two exchanging letters and believed them to be romantically involved. She flew into a great rage and murdered her husband. Lady Trelawney Hope fled the scene. However, she first noted the location of the stolen letter beneath the rug, and then later she returned to retrieve it, as we heard from our kind-hearted constable. But now it is time for the last part.
Yes, how did her husband react?
He was rather pleased with the outcome.
Ah, Mr. Holmes.
Lord Trelawney.
Any developments?
Well, I am afraid not, sir. But I do think perhaps the letter never left your box after all.
Whatever do you mean?
Well, go fetch it and have a look.
Very well. The letter? How? But this is impossible. Oh, it is a great weight lifted from my shoulders. But how, Mr. Holmes? How? We all have our little diplomatic secrets.
Good day, sir. And so the case came to a close. However, the Trelawney Hopes are on their way to a pleasant little retirement in Spain very soon, so I hope you will not release any of those details until after that time.
Of course not, Holmes. But as you say, a little tact and management can go a long way.
Grapple as the dog.